what is Create Minneapolis, and can you tell us a little bit about how it started?
Yeah, Create Minneapolis was started with the recognition that there is an ever-growing technology field, so there's opportunity for people to get work, but there's a major lacking in both women and people of color in the industry. And so the desire is to provide accessible technology learning programs so that everybody can have an opportunity to at least consider this field and hopefully help provide more pathways for different careers other than just your standard four-year college or X, Y, or Z. You can consider this. And this is a field that isn't going away, it's only expanding. And so the hope is to be able to show that to students now, hopefully help them out then long-term with their career options. Create Minneapolis started with some connections at Hope Academy here on 23rd in Chicago, in South Minneapolis, and they started doing some before school programs, started to, they got some space, they got some students, and they just started to explore, and over the years started new programs and reached more students. And in 2018 they were reaching 130 some students, and at the same time the school was considering ways that they wanted to better serve their students. They saw a very high percentage of graduation rate here at the school, but then a very low graduation rate after school. So when they went to college or tech school or whatever, students weren't finishing there. And so they wanted to help students better. And so they started to explore, how do we help them? And at that time, Create Minneapolis was going, well, we're kind of maxed out at Hope Academy, so we should start reaching out into other schools, other after-school programs, things like that, and started helping with a school in South Minneapolis with Ace in the City. We've done stuff with Urban Ventures, the Girl Scouts, and then we were starting to branch out into the parks and on the north side of Minneapolis as well. And then the pandemic hit, and there's not a lot of students that are able to do programming right now. But then what the school decided, the Hope Academy decided, was that they want to provide specific tracks for students to consider careers that are in high demand that maybe don't require a four-year degree as well. And so this year they're offering programs or classes in coding, robotics, and woodworking to try to get students back into the trades and then consider opportunities in the technology field. So because of that, we have more opportunity at Hope Academy than we've ever had, but also we have decreased opportunity because of COVID and other places. So we do hope, obviously, to be able to move back into spaces to serve more students. But right now, with 550 students here at Hope Academy, we have an opportunity to reach quite a few of them, if not close to all of them right now. So we're excited to be at Hope Academy, but it's also taken us 5+ years to develop a relationship where we could do something like this. But again, we're happy to be here.
And what are we looking at back here a little bit? Can you give us a little bit of
Yeah, back here you can see a couple of the tables here. These are competition tables for First Lego League, which is a robotics competition. And then also on the shelf here, it's a part of First Tech Challenge, which is another robotics competition for older students, so 7th through 12th grade. They move past the Legos, which Legos are fun, everybody loves those, but you move into using nuts and bolts and steel and other type of materials. So these are the things that we work with students in the fall with to help them learn how to build a robot, to solve problems, to be able to program it, to make it solve the different missions or earn points. And that's just part of it. These leagues that they're in are really cool because they really emphasize community impact, what's going on in your world. For the first Lego League team, they have to come up with what's called an innovation project. And so this year, they're addressing the problem of students not being active. And so how do you get kids to be more active? And so it's in the game of COVID and video games, it's an extra high challenge. And so it's been fun to see the kids think through how to entice students to get out and to be active, especially now that it's getting really cold. How are kids going to get out and be active?
Yeah. What other programs do you guys offer?
Yeah, so there's a few different levels of this first Lego League. So the first Lego League is one of the groups for 4th through 8th graders. There's a junior version that can be for 2nd through 4th graders, and they're working with a much more basic robot and coding. And then as I mentioned, the first tech kids, there's also a first robotics challenge. We're not quite there yet. You got to drop about 20 grand on a robot to do that. And then this fall, we also introduced a couple new opportunities, some to be 100% virtual. One's called Coder Z, where the kids are actually on a team, but all they do is program a robot virtually. And then another one called Sphero Global Challenge, and Sphero is a robot just like BB-8 that you can program and you can make it do different missions. And so that one is a little bit more interactive, where they could meet here. So one of the teams that we have meets here, the other one meets in kids' homes, or they just do it all at home. And so if they're 100% online learning, then they can still be involved with the team and still do competition, but they don't have to go and be around other people right now.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So there's a variety for people's comfort levels, it sounds
Right,
like. Yeah.
right. The other one that I'd mentioned too that I'm really proud of is Technovation. So Technovation is giving girls an opportunity to explore technology and business. And so you can have a junior team of 4th through 8th graders or a senior team of 9th through 12th graders. And what they do is they address a real world need, so something that's an issue in their community, and they develop a business plan to create this business, to start it, and the business is centered around an app. And eventually what they do is they pitch their business to professionals. And so this gives women, young girls, an opportunity to consider issues in their society, to work on their speech skills, to develop an app. They program the app on their own. So it's a pretty cool way to get students more involved with maybe some different things that they may not get the opportunity with in school.
So Create Minneapolis has a solidarity statement posted on your website. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, the purpose of the organization is to provide these technology learning programs in underserved communities here in Minneapolis. We've been asked to go other places, and we have said, no, we're going to focus on Minneapolis. And unfortunately, we know that there are issues with education and there are disparities, especially for women and minorities. And so when something like what happened this summer with George Floyd and the civil unrest happens, we have to make a statement, because our mission is to reach this community, and we are on the same street that the murder happened. And so as an organization, even though we're young and we don't have things polished and established, we still knew, and the board knew, that we had to put out a statement in response to what had happened.
What ways can folks educate themselves, or how would you encourage people to get involved?
Sure, there's a million ways to help the flourishing of our society, and this is just one way. We recognize that, but we felt like there was a lacking in this way. And so you can get involved either in a short-term way, and there's hundreds if not thousands of nonprofits, especially here in Minneapolis. But for us specifically, for Create Minneapolis, we are a newer, young organization. And so there's always a need for volunteers, whether it's working with the students, and we are deemed essential with the students, and so we can have in-person volunteers if people feel comfortable with that. But we especially need people to help in a few different ways, whether it's on a subgroup kind of committee of marketing or development or IT or HR. We want to set up this organization for success in the long term. And so how do we do that? We need professionals to help with their opinion and their experience and their knowledge, but also a network. We need to be able to connect with people who know individuals, know corporations, know businesses who can help us as we grow and try to fulfill that mission of reaching more students and giving them opportunity.
That's really cool. So it sounds like there's a plethora of need or a variety of ways that people can get involved.
Absolutely. And we've never sent out mailers, but if you really enjoy sealing envelopes, we'd be happy to send out mailers just for you. But we really want to utilize people for how they've been wired and designed to be able to utilize their gifts and abilities to further the mission of the organization.
That's incredible. That's really cool. So why is it important to increase focus to underserved communities with regards to innovation and technology?
Yeah, with the way that the world is going, we need to provide new opportunities to students. And then when you think about the education system in Minneapolis, it's not doing what it is supposed to do. And so we want to help just in one little way to try to provide students with another opportunity. And one of the best parts of our job is honestly to see a student's eyes light up because they get excited about something. We've had students come in and go, oh, Legos are dumb, or robotics are dumb, or I don't understand coding. And then when they start to get into it and interact with the fun programs that we have and eventually recognize that this is something that could be valuable for them long term, that's really important to us. And as I mentioned, with the technology field not going away, and especially now amidst COVID, people are using technology more than ever, we want students to recognize that it's not just a consumeristic thing for them. They can learn how something works and then they can improve it. And not only can they improve it, but they could also consider ways that it's impacting society in a negative way, and they could create something new or something different. So hopefully that would, again, develop or increase the flourishing of a society as opposed to increasing the loneliness or the really just kind of the sadness, those negative aspects of what technology could do to a society. We all know them, we've seen them, and we want students to understand that there is a different way to use technology. These aren't bad ways, go play your video games for a long time. That's a fun thing to do, especially when you got a Christmas break or something like that. But also, you should know how it works. You should consider ways to make things better. You can write a story or you can rewrite a story to help somebody out, as opposed to maybe have them withdraw and not be as much of a part of the society. We want people to contribute, not just to be the consumer and just be here to take. We want them to be able to contribute in meaningful ways. Yeah.
Have you found that Create Minneapolis has been a fun way for students to connect with one another as well?
Yeah, to have them connect over something new is fun, but also challenging. When you don't have kind of the standard, hey, this is a basketball team and we have to run these drills and we have a game to prepare for, it can be a bit more of a challenge to help them understand what you're preparing for. But what we've seen in the past is that what they need is just more one-on-one or one-on-two time, to just give them an opportunity to learn what they're doing and then to just kind of let them go in certain areas. So an example is that we had a student who, he was just kind of a squirrely kid, and yet he was here. He showed up regularly, and he kind of got lost in the crowd because he was just doing his silly thing. And we had an extra session, and one of our staff had a little one-on-one time with him, and we found that he actually not only really enjoyed it, but he's really good at the programming side. And so when we started to give him a little bit of guidance and a little bit of just freedom to try things, we saw that, hey, you can contribute really well. He just needed a little bit extra attention. And I think all the students need that when it's in a new field and a new activity like this. Yeah, with 2020 being such a roller coaster without a seatbelt, it's been wild for a lot of organizations, but especially for after-school programs or opportunities for students to connect and meet. A lot of the programming that I have seen in our world has decreased drastically. As a matter of fact, one of the organizations that we work with here in Minnesota, last year they had 650 teams, this year they're at 150. And so they have decreased by 75% of what they're used to. And Create Minneapolis, because of our relationship with the school here, has actually quadrupled our programs, our before-school programs. And so we have a really cool opportunity not only to meet in person with the students that are here, but also virtually with the students who are doing distance learning. And then because of the timing of the school expanding and in this new space, offering coding, robotics, and woodworking, we've been helping develop the curriculum for K through 12 classes here. We're in a high school space right now, and so they have brand new classes with coding and robotics, and we'll be starting with those students in December. We've already been starting with the lower school, and so we have more opportunity in front of us than we've ever had, which is exciting. But again, as a small nonprofit, we have to scale accordingly and do our best to serve these students so that they don't just get bored by this or see that it's not going to be a fun thing. We want to make sure they see the value and the opportunity with it all.